Meeting of the Duluth Community Services District Engineering Committee, Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. I call the order and roll call. I see Ray Johnson is here,
Present, yes.
and I'm here, so we have all of our other guests here. Is there any public comment from anywhere, Jessica?
No.
Okay. Let's roll on to the minutes. I've read the minutes. There's some minor mistakes, but I'm not going to nitpick them. Are you good with the minutes, Ray?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can move to approve the minutes. If there's no discussion on that, we'll approve the minutes for October 13th. Okie dokie. Item D, roadway reconstruction. Would that be you, Ron?
That would be me, yeah. I apologize. Dave had some family stuff he had to take care of, so that's why you'll see me here. So it's going to show the presence. But basically, for the Sandia Creek and Via Vaquero jobs, we're still going through the environmental process. But after that last meeting, it's kind of lit a fire under Ultra Systems, so I think it's gone well with that. But with that, we have the jurisdictional delineation report. That's all complete now. And I looked at the CDFW permit that's right there, and we just need to register everything with their new system. So we're going through that process right now, and then that will be submitting that CDFW permit. And then we move on to the U.S. Army Corps and the regional water quality ones. They're setting up that system and going through the process right now, getting all the application packages filled out for that. Now that CDFW is out of the way. So we're showing progress, but it's moving along, but it's still where it was.
I had a question. Is Sandy Creek and Via Vaquero, do you have to get separate permits for each one, or are they all the same project?
So right now we're classifying them all as the same project to make it easier in one application on that.
Oh, okay. So they do the environmental study at both locations, or?
That's correct. Yes, the jurisdictional delineation report, the one that I just mentioned, that is for both sites, and it's showing all the acreages for both sites.
Okay. Any questions on item D from anybody?
Nope.
I have a comment. At your last meeting, we had the environmental consultant there.
Yeah.
And of course, we all learned so much. And so I went to, it's Robert De Lissandri's HOA. I can't remember which, Margarita Ranchos or whatever.
Bro.
And we did it on Zoom. And I had to be the bearer of bad news that I'd heard at engineering committee that the environmental assessment had been pushed back to spring. And if I had been there personally, I would have been carrying my head by my hair out the door. They were furious. And the detour for them is getting very, very old. Just so happens somebody keeps ripping off the detour signs. You kind of wonder who that might be. How many detour signs can a kid have? But anyway, the next day they were back up, of course. But the usual, the trash, the noise, the speeding, and I explained all the things we've been trying to do to help them out. But they're not really of a mind to hear that. They just want Sandia Creek open again. So just a footnote here to, the meeting a month ago. The natives are getting real restless out there. So anyway.
Jim, I've been telling you that for 6 months. I've talked with all those people. They're mad.
Yeah.
Wet hand.
Well,
I have several friends that live on the detour.
Yeah, I know. No, it's not that we were kidding. It's just we understand, and we've been doing everything we can to accommodate, but signs and and lowering speed limits and stuff only goes so far, and they're getting real tired of it. I don't blame them. It's just there's nothing I can do for them right now. So anyway, it's just some feedback, which, yeah, you knew, Robert's been reporting the same. And to be honest with you, I don't really blame them. I mean, if I lived there, I'd feel the same way.
What about opening up the, forget the detour. Robert's the one that pushed to have that Sandy Creek blocked off. They could have went and made a right on El Prado, but that was all Robert's idea. And somehow he got it through there. And, that's not going to open Sandy Creek, but it's shorten the detour. And that road's in probably as good, if not better shape than the detour road. If you went out and looked.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
Well,
what the people have told me. But I
yeah,
went.
no, I heard them, and so we just got to get this darn thing done.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
What you're saying is it's a good thing you weren't up for re-election.
well, you're right, because I've been on that side too. And had my head torn off in those kind of meetings. So yeah, you're right. So Ron, you got to make that lady get this done. This has just gone on and on and on. And I know they got their problems at the state, but this is ridiculous. A whole year.
I agree.
Because basically the engineering on the pipe is ready. I mean, we're done. We're ready. We got the contractor standing by. And they've been sitting since what, summer, early summer? We could have had this thing done in July. But anyway, it is what it is.
Definitely want to light a fire under and keep pushing.
Because there's where the fire needs to be, because everybody else has performed fine. Everything's great. I mean, ready to go. So anyway, just to let you know what happened. So
Thank you, Jim. Let's move on to item E, the same thing. Mr. Stein, would you fill us in on the slurry seal, or is that you, Steve?
No, that's going to be, I'll take over for that. I'm sure Steve will have some input on that as well on the traffic side, but I'll start it off and let Steve finish it off there. So yeah, I'm going to try and share my screen here. Hope this works out. Is everyone seeing what I'm seeing, the map here?
Yep.
All right. So this was the schedule. This was the week 1 schedule here that they submitted. You can see he highlighted and he had all the dates right here. And from what I hear, he's been doing a real good job so far. Our inspector's been saying good things about him. And basically, this is the week 1 schedule. You can see that they did all these highlighted areas right here in the week 1. These 2 were scheduled to be in the week 1. That's Sandia Creek, and then right here for El Calamar. These 2 were moved to the next week. So they've been doing a good job. They're moving everything along. And then they submitted here their next week's schedule. So according to them, the slurry will be completed Tuesday, November 17th. That's the anticipated date. So that should be the last day of slurry, but everything, construction sites are going to be a little unpredictable, and they're not working tomorrow with it being a holiday. So that's going to be a day off. So there'll be no road work tomorrow as well. So that's kind of what they're doing here. And you can see that they're wrapping up all of the areas right now. They even give the detours and where they're doing a half AM, half PM. So I think we got a good schedule moving forward, and then move into the striping and everything once all the roads are slurried. And this is just a zoomed in area of that last section right there, which you couldn't see. And I also just wanted to update on the status. Due to some project savings that we've had within the project, we were able to add a little more of the striping in. We're trying to take advantage of fully of them mobilizing and the good cost that we did have on this. So we were able to add in to be able to stripe the entire district within this project and still come in under budget on this one. So everything's looking really good. I think I'm looking like it's going to be a successful project. And I think we're getting a lot of work done in this little small period here, but that's the big things I wanted to say on that. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to elaborate on, but that's basically my main presentation here. I think everything's going really well out there.
Okay. I had a question on that. They're out there doing the slurry seal or whatever it is, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, so according to my research, it has to be at least 55 degrees for a 24-hour period for the stuff to cure. So they're out there this morning. It's 44 degrees. It's 37 last night. It's, how does this project fit into the guidelines for the National Traffic Safety Commission and all the paving companies that I've talked to that said that don't even do this kind of work at this time of the year because of the cold weather? What we got some special material or something that we don't need to be within the temperature range?
So we do have a temperature range called out in the specifications, and I can pull that up in the specifications there. But one thing in the specifications do read that the temperature has to be a certain degrees and rising before you can finish that, complete that operation. And our inspectors have been monitoring that. So if they're not doing something for spec, then we have an issue. But I haven't heard that from our inspector that it has reached that threshold. I can't give you the number right off the top of my head right now, but I can shuffle around and try and find this in the meeting, within the meeting window.
I asked one of the guys out there and he just shrugged his shoulders like, I don't know. So he didn't, I asked him about the whole situation and he just went like, like, I'm not the right guy to ask the question to. So I just kept going.
So I'm hoping we can talk to the foreman about that. That would be the main guy out there.
I don't know who he was, but he was just a guy.
Yeah, and our inspector is definitely on top of that. He knows our spec language. So he's been monitoring what the temperature is, and there is a temperature range in our specifications. I definitely laid that out. So I can look into that right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. I guess are you up again on Buena Vista reconstruction? Do you want to?
Yeah, I think I'm going 3 in a row here. So yeah, it's so for that one, we're still going through the environmental permitting as well. But I've gotten some good feedback on that. The notice of exemption, we finished everything, so we're good on CEQA. We just need to file that right now. We have everything wrapped up on that. There's just I need to talk. I got this yesterday after my conversation. We just need to do a $50 filing fee to get that all filed. So I'll be talking with Jim about that to get that all done. But then once we get that, everything is good with CEQA there. And then I talked to her regarding some, so moving forward, she was really knowledgeable about what's going on with this Army Corps and Regional Water Quality Board. And she requested to me that within 2 to 3 weeks, we can have what they call a pre-application meeting. And this is going to be really helpful to push the project along for this specific type of project where it is. So she's setting up a meeting potentially with Army Corps, and they think we'll have the permit application wrapped up within that 2 to 3 week period. So we'll go in with everything, and we're going to kind of express the urgency because everything's strange right now with all the state departments, as we have seen. So she's planning that pre-application meeting. I talked with her this afternoon, and we're trying to get that all scheduled. So within 2 to 3 weeks, we should have all that figured out. All the reports have been done since as of last month, so we're good on that front. But that project's moving along really well with that, and I don't see any delays or anything future that what we've seen from the last meeting.
Okay. Well, I thought you guys talked about it last week that we weren't going to be minimum 4 to 7 months. It says here from on the last minute. So how do we get it? Are you?
No, it's the same. They're running parallel. That is what the lady on the Sandia Creek said to you at the meeting, 4 to 7 months. Ron, I haven't met with the people there, but they seem to be moving faster. It seems to be like we got a better consultant on the Buena Vista project. But nonetheless, with the date, what you're throwing around about these permits, and you're talking about ACE, but you got 3 more to go. So I don't know. I haven't talked to them, but it should come in about the same at about the spring. But you need to verify that with them. I mean, this all sounds great. They may beat the other people, but we need this by spring.
Yes, and that is the plan. I told her that's the eyes on the prize. We are getting this project completed, before the next rainy season, and we're aiming for that spring right there to get everything going. So that's the eyes on the prize right there. We're not bending on that one. We are going to push until we get that, and that's what we're working for, and that's why we're doing that pre-application meeting to assist with that process.
Yeah, no, that's great. These people seem to be a lot more on the ball.
Yeah, they're definitely helping me out. I'm even learning a lot from them. So
I don't think we'd ever hire back that one that we met with last month.
definitely leaning towards Rincon. They've done some really good work on this Buena Vista so far.
All righty. Well, thank you for the, any questions from Ray or anybody else for Ron on any topics? Okay, thank you, Ron.
All right, thank you.
Traffic issue, the Mr. Liebring, would you give us your take on the latest?
Okie dokie. Jessica's got a little PowerPoint for us. Go ahead to the first slide. So as Ron already stole the thunder, all the streets are going to be refreshed, and we're monitoring the traffic control, and they've been doing a pretty good job with that out there too. So that's good. We're moving our CMS sign around. We had it deployed on Cameron and North Sandia Creek and Sandia Creek, and now it's over on El Prado North. Jessica. We've ordered the reflective tape. We're waiting for it to be shipped, and when it is, then we'll get that installed on the guardrails. As Jim mentioned, we have had some thievery out on the detour. We've replaced these signs twice. So now the third time, we're going to be putting in some permanent posts, see if that will help people from just picking up our brand new barricades and signs. Then the big news for the week was this new river that we created in Duluth, runs down El Calamar. We had Water District had a broken pipe. Go on to the next one. So you can see kind of in that picture to the right of the middle gentleman, the pavement's uplifting already there in that picture. Next one. This is a picture of the pavement truck who was out there trying to do the slurry seal. He is one of the unfortunate people that got caught in it. Took a couple hours to pull him back out, but he was fine. Next one. We closed the road. Our staff went up there and closed the road at both ends and left it closed overnight so they could work on it in daylight the next day. They fixed the pipe and paved it the very next day. And then we reopened the road and we were good to go. Now it's all striped and paved and looks good like normal again. So any questions on the traffic report?
We didn't need a slew of permits and 6 months of investigation to fix that hole in the road. And I mean, I can't believe you're able to fix it one day. Maybe we should contact that guy and see how he's able to do that.
Okay.
Just rubbing it in a
Good
little.
idea, good idea.
Alrighty. Well, that's good. Anything else, Steve?
No, that's all for traffic portion.
Okay. How about, I guess you're up for field crew report.
Yes. Okay. So we contracted out some work to get the large trees overhead taken care of. We're going into the heavy winter season and those big trees over the road start getting heavy and stuff. So we're doing a little thinning out, and that project has been nearly done. Should be done by the end of next week. We've been knocking down some weeds. This is a picture of Carancho before. If you look on the up ahead, all the weeds along the edge of the road, all the way around to the bend and the curve. That's how thick it was, just that kind of a heavy brush. And then the next slide you'll see now that's what Croncha looks like now. The weeds are all cut back and we got a nice big 2 or 3 foot wide strip there. Makes a much wider road as it turns out. We also have been inspecting the drains, as you know, and we took all the weed growth out and all the silt out, and everything's been completed on that end of it. So by the end of October, so it's been a very good month. And then we went back in with sandbags, and we had some past erosion issues that we noticed. And so we proactively went in there and started reinforcing those with sandbags already to help minimize any further damage and to hold up for hopefully the next rain that comes. So, and that work was also completed by the end of October. So. And that's our maintenance report.
We just had an inch and a half in some places. Have you had a chance to look and see if the sandbag reinforcement held for this little rain we just had?
Yeah, my guys went out on Monday after the rain and they spent the whole day. They split up. One took half the community, one took the other half of the community. They went up down all the streets. They're checking for all the drains. The only thing they noticed was a few tumbleweeds and things like that had maybe blown into the drain areas and stuff like that. But they said the drains are all flowed. None of them were backing up. Everything was working good. So we got that done just in the nick of time.
Oh, great. Okay, any questions on anything that Steve has said from anybody? Ray?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you, Steve. I guess we'll move to item I. Jim, do you have anything to say about permits, subdivision maps, or county issues?
Nothing at this time. Ron, is Dave working on any permits right now, or are those all cleared?
Nothing that I've seen in the last past month, so I haven't seen.
Yeah,
any.
I think those are all current. So county, nothing. State, nothing right now. Federal, no. We just need our permits for our roads. That's about it.
Okay, all right. And did you have any luck gambling, or do you not gamble?
Well, my wife did. She supported the economy over there a little bit. I didn't do too much. I tried for a few minutes, and I could see which way that was going. So I found other things to do.
Went into I think it's Pachanga. When one of my relatives came, they wanted to go there. So we walked in, and you'll never see people with longer looks on their face and no smiles as
Yeah.
in the casinos, sitting like they're in a trance. I don't imagine they're having any fun, losing money.
Well, that's the thing. There's no people around. Like, it's not like Vegas normal. And of course, if your people aren't pumping money in those machines, they're not going to be paying it back. And that's what I kept telling my wife, and she learned the hard way, but she had fun. One highlight though, I saw somebody I hadn't expected to see when I went on that trip. It was just a birthday thing. I got to see the president.
Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, he was in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, because one night she said, well, I want to go to this so we were at Flamingo. Let's go down to Harrah's. And I said, well, why don't, weather's kind of nice and all the freaks are not here right now. Let's walk down the sidewalk on the strip. And she says, yeah, good idea. So we start walking down the sidewalk and, it's normal. There's no Elvises out there or anything. But all these people were up against the railing along the road, Vegas Boulevard. And then we start looking and there's no traffic and there's police everywhere. And the street was completely blocked. So we're like, oh no, somebody ran down all these pedestrians or terrorists or whatever. And we could tell, no, that doesn't seem right. So I went up and I asked this kid, I said, what's going on? And he says, Trump's coming through. And I go, really? And right about then, starts the motorcycles and, they had, the phony limousine that comes first,
Mm.
and then the one behind it. And so he was like 20 feet away. He was in the second lane over, and you could see the big hair and the wave, and the car went by. So that was my big Vegas trip. I saw the president.
Yeah, that was coincidental. That's called being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I guess it was pretty spontaneous, and
I don't think you'll see him drive by there as president next time you're in Vegas.
no, I don't think so. I think that was a one-shot deal.
Well, Vegas luck.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
I have to correct you on losing money in Vegas. I went to Vegas for a accident reconstruction and accident patterns conference. And the mayor gave the opening welcome speech. And he promised everybody there at the convention that nobody loses money in Vegas. There's been no money lost in Vegas ever. Vegas knows exactly where all the money is. It's not lost. He says people come to Vegas. He says we like to think of them investing in our city, and we appreciate the investments. Some people like to come back and reinvest in because they like us so much, and we watch their money very carefully. And so he was really good at it. And that's why he got elected,
That's excellent. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Well, gee whiz, I hate to, I could say we're not eat and run, but I mean, I hate that we just been here 25 minutes, but there's not a whole lot of extra things that you guys want to talk about.
We're
Now that it's
going into winter.
we might as well fold it up. Thank you all for coming, and I guess we'll see you all next week at the regular board meeting.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
So thank you so
Sounds
much.
good.
Thank you, Jessica.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hold on.